Hey, welcome back. Mark Dickinson here once again. This session is called Putting Your Plan into Action. Last time we talked about how to structure your training plan, but this one is all about getting it done. Because most people have this great idea. We want to train, we want to get our people into a great system. Lovely, awesome, great thought. But the problem is you got to convert the thought into a thing. Thoughts become things. So if you had that thought and you've written it down and you said, you know, I want to have my orientation plan or my induction plan, I want to do my job descriptions, I want to have my jobs broken down into training programs, then now you're in the right place. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take you forward and explain what you do now. So the first thing you need to do is get a big old piece of paper, and then you sit in the location of the job that you want to describe. So what I do is, if it's a chef, I go and sit in the kitchen. And I sit with the person who is most qualified in that job. And I say to them, hey, tell me about your job, what do you do? And they talk, and they start talking, and the longer you talk, the more you hear. So what you do is you ask great questions and listen. So here's the thing for you, AQAL, ask questions and listen. And what I say is listen, because when I say that, you're going to remember, oh, that crazy guy said listen. Listen, people do not listen, they always want to talk. So here's what you do, you get in that situation, whether it's a chef, it's a housekeeper, it's a general manager, it's a front office manager, it's a waiter, a captain, whatever position it is, you get face to face with the person who does the job and you tell them, hey, what is this job about? So you listen and you write down notes. Once you finish writing down those notes, then you go, and I recommend you use a cloud drive. Google Drive is awesome. You can use the Apple Cloud, whichever it is, but do your documents on cloud because it makes it so easy to have live sharing of the document and everyone can edit the document, and then you come up with one complete document without sending emails around and wasting a lot of time. So what do you do first? You sit with the person whose job you're going to describe. And you start. You write it down. Now, you probably have, in any organization, minimum of 12 different job titles. Do you need to make a job description for each of those 12 people? Absolutely, of course. Why? Because all the jobs need to be described. Because one day or the other, even the manager of your restaurant will leave. He'll tell you no, but he's going to leave. And if he's a hotel manager or GM, he's only going to stay with you 2.5 years, 3 years, because that's the cycle of a GM. And the problem is that what we need to do is we need to capture every single step of every single job. So the problem with training is that a lot of managers go, well, training's for the staff, it's not for me. Wrong. If you want to put your plan into action, the first people you want to train is your managers, because the managers are the middle of your business. So you got the vision at the top, you got this owner, you got this shareholders, or you've got the board of directors, whatever it is, and they have all the passion for the business. And then you got people who run the business, and then you got people who do the work. And the people who do the work, I write down here, these people love what they do. But in between, we've got this sandwich, we've got this management crowd. These people work for salaries, they will give their loyalty to you for a period, and then they move on, they go somewhere else, they work for another company. So what happens to all the investment you did? Well, you did a great job, you invested in people, and that's awesome, and we have that responsibility. Across the industry, our job is to help people get better. So in Done, we say we improve people's lives. So you need to have in your mind, my mission is what? Improve people's lives. Yeah, okay, I'm going to hire this manager and he's going to leave. No problem. Train him so that when he leaves, he'll be a phenomenal ambassador of what you're doing. Then, once you've done that job description, what you do is you share it with everybody. Having shared it with everybody, just hold that thought for a second. So, where were we? we just had a small training issue pop up while we're making the video, which is exciting. You could hear the trays in the background and the guy polishing the trays and stacking them one on top of the other. So why I paused the video was to go and deal with that situation and find out why is he stacking the trays and making noise like crazy doing it, because no one told him that just cleaning trays is a job that requires skill and you do it like this. Now you hear the restaurant is quiet again. Why? Because he understood. I wipe the tray and then I put it, I don't throw it. And that's exactly what we're here for. We're here to improve people's lives by giving them knowledge. So, we got the job description. Once you've done that job description, the next thing you need to do to put into action your plan is what we talked about in the last video, which is creating your movie script. Creating a movie script takes a lot of time and you got to be really focused to do it. What you need to do is you need to get yourself on location. So if you want to write a sequence of service or a job profile for somebody in housekeeping, go to housekeeping. If you want to do it for the front office, be in the front office. You want to do it for a restaurant, be in the restaurant. In the kitchen, be in the kitchen. You get the point. So you've got to go where the people are. You get in that location and again you say, well, what experience do I want my customer to have? So the customer is going to walk in the door. How does this thing kick off? So what you do is you gather with you 2 or 3 people who do that job all the time. And if you go on our channel, movie channel, on our Done channel, you can see in Done channel so many movies shot by different restaurants, different hotels of how to do different jobs. And the reason we do that is so that you can learn from other people. So if you ask a typical manager, please write for me the sequence of service, they say, well, yes, when the guest walks in, smile and say welcome and take them to the table. That doesn't work. That isn't training. That is just a few words, but it doesn't get there. So here's what we do. We get the pen, we get the paper, and we start writing. So the customer is arriving. First, we open the door for them. As we open the door, we greet them. We smile and we say, good morning. Welcome to, and in this case today we're in the restaurant called Duo. So we say, good morning, welcome to Duo. How are you today? And then we wait for our guest to reply. When our guest replies, then we smile and say, do you have a reservation? And they say, no, we don't. Ah, may I know your name, please? Yes, my name is Chris. So you say, ah, Mr. Chris, welcome. How many are you today? We're 3. Certainly. Mr. Chris, would you prefer to sit outside or inside? Would you like smoking area outside or you like to be in the non-smoking area? So we write each word down. Every single word that has to be spoken has to be written. And then we say using an open-handed gesture. A lot of times you'll see in a restaurant waiters pointing. Pointing is policemen. Pointing is teachers. I don't know who. But pointing is not in our industry. We always use open-handed gestures. So here's what happens. Open-handed gesture, lead your guest to the table. And when you arrive at the table, what do? We put your hand on the back of the chair and pull the chair towards you. And you say, this is your table. And you watch the guest's reaction. You seat the guests. You help them be comfortable. If your system is to give them the menu by the hostess, so you'll provide them with the menu. If it's not, then you'll say, enjoy your meal. And your waiter will be with you in a few moments and you leave the table. So what you have to do is you have to write down every single detail. So the next thing in this movie that's going to happen is the waiter's going to come to the table with the menu. Good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is, good evening. And they present the menu. How? Well, if you present the menu, you can just give the menu or you can offer the menu. You can hold the menu from the top, put your hand underneath it at the bottom and say, here's our menu. So you decide, again, exactly what the standard is. When you offer the menu, do you say what the plat du jour or the specials of the day are? Is that part of your system? If it is, make sure it's written down. And so you get the idea. You go through every single step of the service. And so by the end of the time you finish writing, you might have about 14 or 15 different chapters that will talk about the entire service experience of our guests or customers. So then, once you've written that down, you've done the first part of creating your system. So then we take that, we take each chapter, we break the chapters down, and we turn those into training sessions. And each training session will have a video, each training session will have the notes, and each training session will have a quiz to follow up on the information that's been taught. So in this video, what I want you to remember is you write down your job description by sitting with the people face to face, and then you create the sequence of service, writing it like a movie. And that movie is what we're going to train to each and every single one of our employees in the restaurant. Hope this is helpful. Want to help you get amazing service for every single customer, every single time, 100% happy all the time. Thank you for listening. Hope it helps you out. Thank you.